Happy Monday. Today is Monday, April the 18th, 2022. Today's daily Bible readings come to us from Psalm 118, 1 through 2, and then 14 through 24, Joshua 10, 16 through 27, and then 1 Corinthians 5, 6 through 8. And I'm going to take a look at 1 Corinthians and talk about out with the old because um, it's a new beginning. That's the great thing about Easter. It reminds us of this new beginning that we have in Christ. Let's go back by talking about Passover because that is another important holiday that we share at this time of year. That Easter is it revolves around. We don't always line up perfectly, but Easter is tied to the Passover celebration. If you've read the Gospels, you realize that Jesus and the disciples are in Jerusalem for the Passover celebration. Part of the Passover celebration, or actually what happens before the Passover celebration, is this act that our Jewish sisters and brothers go through where they remove the leavening from their houses, the old bread, right? So, if it's coming on Passover, you really don't want to go buy a loaf of bread. So they go to great pains to remove all that from the house. I think I've talked about this before. But even like Orthodox Jewish people will actually hold gatherings in which they have a bonfire and they burn all the old bread to make sure that that leavening doesn't follow them into their life after the Passover, doesn't follow them into the Passover celebration. And this goes back to the Exodus and God's command to them to like remove the leavening from their house and bake bread without leavening because they were preparing for this imminent journey to freedom that God was about to lead them on. Jesus even warns his disciples to beware the leaven of the Pharisees because, as he says, a little of that goes a long way. And here, and Paul, he has to warn the followers of Christ again the same thing. He uses pretty much almost the same language. He says, "Do you not know that a little yeast leavens the whole batch of dough?" So Paul is warning people to beware the leaven of the world around them, the world that they left behind. The leaven for them is boasting and arrogance. They, like the ancient Israelites before them, are being led out of bondage under the blood of a new Paschal lamb. Right? You remember the Old Testament story of the Exodus. They sacrificed, they slaughtered a lamb, they used its blood to mark their homes so that the Passover angel would know that they were part of God's people, right? And then they consumed that lamb. They shared it with their neighbors. If a neighbor wasn't, just a single person or just not a big enough family, they would all come together and share that. And that carried through into the Passover Seder. Paul is telling us, we have this new Paschal lamb under whose blood we are being led into freedom. And that's why we make sure that we clean out the old leaven of our lives, the things, as he says, the yeast of malice and of evil, the boasting and the arrogance, that we need to clean that out of our lives so we can move forward under the blood of that new Paschal lamb into freedom. Make room, he says, for sincerity and truth. So this is where you get to make Lent count. If you gave up something, and I say something real, if you did more than give up chocolate or sodas, soft drinks for Lent. Not that that doesn't have value. You could learn some things, but if you gave up some real serious issues that you knew you were having, behavioral things, or if you took on some things and some disciplines, some spiritual disciplines, and you've learned a great deal from that, take what you learned and remember what you got rid of, and then that space that it created in you, take that with you as you kind of throw out the old leaven and you move on into the future under the blood of this Paschal lamb we call Christ. Anyway, that's the DBR for today. Get out, enjoy the day, and we'll be back tomorrow. Talk to you later. Boop.